Hello and welcome. I'm your host Elizibar. This is 1 week, 2 vampire books. We got Vampirella over here. I don't think I can really show you the whole cover. I could probably do it on YouTube and it'd probably be fine, but why risk it? Plus, it's a really cool looking monster up there, isn't it? Also got Katrina here. Absolute Comics. They're the people that publish the White Widow books. So, two very different vampire stories. Neither of them, at least at this point, feel like the traditional kind of vampire horror story, like Dracula or whatever. We'll start with Katrina here. For about half this book, I was super into it, and then the other half, I was super not into it. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but it makes sense to me. Uh, we'll kind of get into that because there was like some really cool, very human kind of stuff going on at the beginning. So I think I said it's like set at Hurricane Katrina. We come in here and we meet our main character right there. You know what? I just realized I have no idea what her name is. I don't know if I knew what her name was while I was reading the book. I don't know what that says. Anyway, we meet the main character here, this cop lady, or lady cop, however you want to phrase it. And this is what I'm talking about with some very human stuff. Her mom hasn't evacuated yet, so she has to go get her mom to evacuate. Her mom's praying at the little parish church over here, and she meets the priest. She also sees something funny, like in the attic. The priest dude notices it, so we see there that there's some funny business going on, which we do. There's like a prologue that kind of talks about that kind of stuff, so it all kind of ties together. This was fantastic. This whole first little section up until the moment they're actually out and driving around, and I'm trying to flip to the page where they're doing that. Yeah, here we go. So they go out and they're going to do cop stuff, and this is kind of where I think the book lost its way a little bit because this stuff was not particularly compelling. Most of the cop sequence. One of the reasons is I didn't like the coloring. Like these cop lights don't. I don't know how to explain it. It's like somebody just took the spray paint tool and went with red in in Microsoft Paint. That's what it looks like, and I'm probably not being fair to the artist. Prior to that, like before they're out here in the rain and all that stuff, like okay, I guess they're still out in the rain, but I can like get with like the art here. Like this looks pretty good. I like the facial expressions. I like the way the hair is moving in the wind. I think all that is really good. And it's only later on when they're doing the cop stuff and the cars especially. Every time cars show up in this book, I don't like how they look. There's some interesting character revelations between our main character and her cop partner here. Um, Hubba Hubba. Yeah, see Hubba Hubba. There's nothing really shown in there. There's a little bit of that, and yeah, the vampire doesn't really show up in the first issue, which is the main source of disappointment. Like it's hinted in some of the narration, but we don't see a vampire. So if there was not her with fangs on the cover, right there, waiting to bite me, I wouldn't know that this was a vampire book at all. There's just nothing there. Okay, there's a little like foreshadowing in the narration, but you're not really showing me. You're telling me it's a vampire book, and those are two different things. This is very it was quick reading. I think I skimmed 2 pages of it, just completely skimmed over them because they didn't seem to be relevant. And that was in the cop part. It was just kind of like I lost interest for like 2 pages, and then it got more interesting because they're like chasing this dude into the building, and that leads to like some of the hanky panky stuff. So that it got interesting again. I guess is kind of my point there. It was okay. I don't know that I would pick up the next issue though, based on reading this. I don't know that it was particularly compelling. You just set stuff up. You didn't give me anything. Oh, speaking of books with long payoffs, Vampirella number 10. We're finally getting. I just showed too much. We're finally getting some of that payoff stuff. We open up in this weird place with like the priest like cleaning the toilet and talking to Vampirella and stuff. And that's the framing story for all of this. We're gonna flip to here, and the art here is really weird. There's like two very different styles on these 2 pages. You have this kind of airbrushed looking style in some of these panels, and then you have like these panels were very heavily doing like standard. Here's line art. Here's some kind of flat coloring with some detail, stuff like that. Two very different looking styles from the same artist. It clashes. We're finally getting like some interesting payoffs in the story too. And most of this story, most of this issue, I should say, is basically just Vampirella dealing with the nuns. If you might remember last issue, the nuns, whacked the head nun, and Vampirella went out for revenge. And we get some pretty cool looking stuff here. Like, I am down. Look at this crazy angle she's doing. She's like flipping or whatever she's doing. I don't even know, but it looks cool. Crazy nun combat, people running out of the church. Like, there is some nice action in here. There's also a lot of psychological development about Vampirella, about her relationships with people, her man, I'm trying to remember her name. The girlfriend who like is wearing a costume like hers, like stuff like that, all kind of gets pulled into here. Her brother, like all these plot threads. We kind of condensed the plot down in the last issue, and got to a nice solid place. And now we're like launching off again. I don't know how long this particular chunk of story is going to go, but we get this very satisfying issue here where we resolve one of the main outstanding plot threads of what are these nuns up to. Pretty good. Definitely liked it. I'm definitely liking the series more now than I did earlier on because things are making sense. It kind of makes me feel like this should have just been printed as a trade paperback instead of a serialized, monthly or quarterly, whatever it is now that we've had all this madness of things getting delayed and all that. But like, it definitely feels like we should have just went like straight for a trade paperback or something and ignored the serialized monthly format because I think this would have been a much stronger story if I had just picked it up, read the whole thing from start to finish as a single book instead of as well. This is issue 10, so instead of as 10 separate books. I hope that makes sense. Yeah, so Katrina was okay. Vampirella was actually pretty good. I'm still kind of wondering like what's gonna go on. Like, is that dude who's like host to the alien mind control symbiote or whatever? Like, is that gonna come back? Is that still like a relevant plot thread? Is that over with? I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue. We're gonna kind of cover that up a little bit, move that up like that, and you know what? Check these books out. If you've read Katrina, let me know what you think. Let me know what you think, because I'm really kind of unsure about how I feel about it. There's definitely some stuff I liked, and there's definitely some stuff I didn't like, and I don't really know how I like grade the two. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff at the very beginning with her mom was super great, absolutely fantastic, very interpersonal. I could have just like read that, and then the cop stuff felt kind of weak later on in the book. And I don't know that I can give you like an example. It just felt weak to me. And Vampirella, this is such a crazy story. If you're in on this Vampirella train, I think you're going to keep going on it. I don't know that this issue is compelling enough for me to tell you, hey, you should just go back and pick up back issues and start reading this again. Although, you know what? Your store probably has back issues of Vampirella just sitting in the 50-cent bin. At this point, probably. I see all kinds of random, relatively new stuff show up in 50-cent bins. It's kind of nuts. It's absolutely kind of nuts. Anyway, you all take care of yourselves. You have a great day. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Definitely check these things out if you've read them. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm very interested in getting your opinion. Bye-bye.